Okay, I'm going to make MENA'S Apple Delight. The first thing, I've already washed my apple. I've taken the peel off the clove and rinsed it. So I cut the apple. And of course I have a little trash bowl nearby to put all the stuff in that I'm not going to eat, like the seeds. Some of you might prefer to use an apple core. I just do this because it's just as quick. So as you see, I'm just going to cut out the middle where the seed is. And I typically cut this part out before I cut the apple into quarters. So each piece, this is how I cut it up. I don't, you know, you almost don't need a cutting board, but I do use one. And so each piece I just cut it up into little bites like this. I've been doing this for years, but you know, be careful. Sometimes my pets and I might eat the last little bites. Like that one. Okay. Now again, sometimes I cut this part out before I cut it in half, because it might be a little easier, but it's okay to just go ahead and cut this little tiny bit out. Now, if I can get the seeds out of there, you know, if I can get that seed out, I'll still eat that middle part. It's still good for us. Just don't want to eat the seeds. Let me put this over here in the middle a little bit better. I thought it would be fun to just show you guys. This is something I make almost every single day. I love it. I usually have a couple of soft-boiled eggs right before I make this, and I just go ahead and eat those in the kitchen because they only take a couple. You know, it only take a minute to eat 2 soft-boiled eggs. And then I make this. And once everybody has settled and had their dinner, I make this and I take this to bed and eat it while I'm doing something in bed, watching TV. I do my red light therapy while I'm eating. So just that little tiny bit. You don't have to cut it out if there's no seed. I don't eat that part. There we go. No matter how long this takes, I really like sharing this part with you. Some people like to see how a dish is made, and see there's a big piece right there, so I'm going to go ahead and you might like really big bites. I don't. I like a lot of little bites, so this is how I cut mine up. Do it however you want. I think it stirs up and mixes up better when there are smaller bites. And I do eat all of it. You could do half an apple and reduce your toppings a little bit. Or, you know, make it all and split it between you and another person. That's okay too. I eat the whole thing. And add a little jumper there. This is an organic Granny Smith apple. I started buying the bags of small organic apples. I used to buy the big single apples, but I have found that this is actually much less expensive. So a bag of Granny Smith apples, they're a really good size for this in my opinion. Now I like to eat. I love to eat. And this could be, it's part of one of my meals for the day. Now the next thing I do, and I am doing this in a specific order. The first part really does. The toppings after this, after the olive oil, you can do in any order you want. I'm just going to show you how I do it. I do the garlic next, and this is how I cut up my garlic. As you can see, I just cross-hatched it. That's an artist term, actually. This is a way to just kind of dice it in your hand. You just cut the top crossways, and then you slice it off. And you have a lot of little pieces. If you love garlic as much as I do, you've probably found all kinds of ways that you can do your garlic. This to me is very quick. That just took, what, a few seconds. And then I wipe off the knife, and then I rinse it off, because sometimes that residue is a little hard to get off. And I don't need the apple for anything else here, but I am going to rinse it off. I get every little piece off so it doesn't have to go down the drain. And I want to eat it all. I've been eating raw garlic for a long time. If you are not used to eating it, it does have a sharp flavor. You can rinse your hands afterwards. I'm just going to wipe my hands with a wet paper towel. You know, all the seeds can go away. Got my little trash bowl over here. The next thing I do is I add the olive oil. This is the olive oil I use. And as you can see, it's got all the good things on the label. It is a great brand. I think it's put together in Tunisia. I use my spoon. I just had my eggs on my spoon here. I pour about 3 tablespoons, sometimes 4. I might eat this again later. This is me making in the afternoon, so I'm just going to do 3 right now. You need olive oil. You can also use avocado oil. It has a slightly different flavor. You know, sometimes I'll stir that up a little bit, but it's important to get the olive oil over the garlic. It kind of smothers it. It's not as bad of a bite. I do not use any kind of packaged or pre-made garlic at all. The next thing I like to add are the dry things. Now, I was using Cayenne, but it's high histamine, and I'm taking a break from high histamine foods, and so I am taking a break from Cayenne, although I love to put a lot of cayenne on this. I'm not doing it now. So I don't measure. I just kind of estimated some measurements. Here's the cardamom. I love cardamom. I get my things in bulk. You can get your things in bulk on online. Mountain Rose Herbs, a lot of people use them. That's cardamom. That's however much that is. I love cardamom, so I use a lot. I do like turmeric. If you're concerned about the oxalates and heavy metals and things, you don't have to use it. You can maybe find a source that you feel like you trust. But just to show you, I just put a little turmeric on here. It does have a nice flavor. It really does. And then I like a dash of cinnamon. This is Ceylon Cinnamon. Yeah, it's the more expensive kind in the store, but if you don't use a lot, which you don't need a lot in most recipes, it's not a big expense to just have some around. So I just put a little, just a little. And then I've typically, I used to make a salad that didn't have greens all the time, but if it did, it was romaine. The salad was half a Granny Smith, or maybe a Fuji, or, you know, another really good tart apple with celery, carrot, cucumber, and I would add a sliced turkey that did not have nitrates or nitrites in it, things like that, you know, just great healthy turkey. And I would always add oregano. So I'm used to having oregano with apple. And I restarted adding this a couple of nights ago. You don't have to add the oregano. I like it. So I put a little oregano in here too. Then I add the hemp hearts. I hope you can see this okay. Again, I don't measure, but on the bag, the serving size is 3 tablespoons. And I gotta tell you, this is good show you what kind I'm using right now. This is shelled hemp hearts. So you see there 10 grams of protein, 12 grams of omegas. Really great for omegas. I think it's helping my skin. And then I get raw, unsalted sunflower seeds. And I just sprinkle some of those on top. That might be about 1/8 of a cup. From what I've looked at, 1/4 of a cup should be about it for the day, because you can consume too much of that. I read. So that's mostly it. The next thing I'm going to do is add just a little salt. We need salt. I'm one of those people, I really do need salt. I'm using this right now, but I'm going to start getting Baja Gold salt, and I just requested to become an affiliate. So once that is, now look, this is what the salt looks like. I actually put some of this salt in some warm water the other day, and I was going to drink it, and all the dark ones stayed at the bottom. They didn't dissolve. So guess what I do? I take them out. I just go through here really quickly and take the big pieces out. Now that might be a lot of salt for some people. Sometimes I put it in the lid and I put a little bit in my hand at a time, but just for the sake of showing you in the video, I just get out the dark pieces. I don't do it over the bowl, and I put them in the trash. Right, so that'll go in my little trash bowl over here. And it only takes a couple seconds to get all these little dark pieces out. I don't know what they are. I haven't asked the company. I just don't want to. Some of them might be beneficial. I don't know. I'm just not going to eat them until I do some research. I might even put some in a bag and run a magnet over it and see what happens, right? But I will be using Baja Gold very soon. I'm going to switch to that. And I'll keep this around for something. So yeah, that's what I do for the salt. I'm going to try to do it really quickly here and just show you. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. And this is really it. I just do this. I get all the big pieces of dark stuff out of the salt. And you can put some of it in the bowl. You can use less salt. I don't really measure that either. I love salt. It's good for us. We need it. I need it. I can feel it when I don't get enough salt per day. Get a little lightheaded, you know. Or I can tell it affects my blood pressure when I don't get enough. I have low BP. I'm one of those people that has low BP, and I need it. We all need some salt. I don't always get the red pieces out. I don't think they're the problem, and I honestly don't know if these dark pieces are bad. I just don't know, so I'm not eating them. I know this seems like it's taking a little bit of time. So, and this is a little more than I wanted for this. So there you go. I'm just going to put this there. Now, I don't have any ground hemp seeds right now. When you get ground hemp, you can get it with more or less fiber. So it can be ground with the hull, which means it's going to have more fiber, or ground without the hull. And I'm guessing they toast the seeds, because these are not. These are raw, and they're beautiful, and they're delicious. And everything in here, the turmeric isn't the most low oxalate thing, but overall, low oxalate, low histamine. It's probably low salicylate, and really healthy and delicious. So there you go. And I could add carob powder. I'll show you the kind that I have right now. This is what I have right now. You could pick out whichever kind you want. You know, I'm not Yeah, maybe I will add some today. I need to use this up anyway, because eventually I'll get some fresh. I apologize for the noise. Well, hold on. It's not coming out. But you can add some carob. Carob has a little bit of natural sugar in it. Not much at all. Well, see, I'm almost down to nothing in this bag. Hold on. Okay, there's some carob. Now, carob has kind of a chocolatey flavor, but it does not have caffeine. It is grown in the same region as cacao, which means it may still have the same kinds of problems as cacao, which means lead and cadmium. Cadmium is in the soil near the equator, and the lead can maybe be in the soil and also comes from in the air where they dry these things out and then they ferment. You know, every piece of chocolate you eat is fermented unless you buy raw chocolate, which is very expensive and not the easiest thing to find. This is it. This is MENA'S Apple Delight. Enjoy.